Hello, Steve Jordans, along with Dwayne Paré, one of the co-creators of Cogneeto. This video is intended for teachers who have decided to have a Cogneeto assignment within their class, and it's probably part one of a multiple part series of videos because the goal really is to introduce you to the interface, give you a sense of what we call the dashboard, tell you how you can create assignments in your courses, and really walk you through that general process of creating an assignment and making it available to the students. It turns out that that can be a very quick and easy process, or it can be much more complex. And for this set of videos, I want to show you some of the complexities that are possible, but many of them you may never use. But just in case you're interested, I want to cover them, and that's why it could end up taking us a few videos to cover the turf we want to cover. So for starters, I'm just going to log in. So www.cogneeto.ca, put in my credentials and the username and password, and I'm just logging in now. So the first time when you log in, not just the first time, every time you log in, you will see what we call your dashboard. And you can always kind of tell where you are from this bar that we call the course bar. And it'll always show a little dent wherever you are and shading gray. So right now we're at the dashboard. And the dashboard really is primarily a way for you to interact with your students. So specifically it provides really two things. First, an announcement area where you can create announcements for your students, simply by hitting the Make an Announcement button. And whatever announcement you create, any students who are in your class, when they log in, they'll see a dashboard much like this, and assignments made for them will be listed on the top. Underneath is a calendar. This calendar will be used when you schedule assignments. So for example, here's an assignment that I have for one of the classes, and what you notice is that it highlights the date when the various phases are due. So you get this little icon on certain dates, and when you roll over the icon, I'm having an assignment on what I call the dark side of social networking. So it's one my students are doing, and their create phase is due on the 2nd, their assessment phase is due on the 6th, and their reflect and revise phase is due on the 9th. This is sort of the typical timing I would use, by the way, for one of these assignments, to kind of have them all done within a relatively short period of time, while keeping students, everything fresh and exciting. So really that's, the calendar is both to remind you of what you have coming up, but students would see a similar calendar that would include your courses, your due dates, plus any other courses that they're in that have peer scholar assignments, they would see that too. So this is really just to orient everybody to what's going on. But most of the action, of course, happens within an actual course itself. So I'm going to go into my intro psych course here and show you a couple things. So I have that ongoing assignment I told you about. Each assignment you have will create a separate, what we call, assignment bar. And I'm going to unhide this one for a moment. I'll explain that. But just to make it a little clearer for you, so this class that I'm teaching now has done 2 assignments. I had an assignment where it was an optional one, where I actually allowed them to generate their own practice questions in preparation for a midterm, generate and evaluate each other's practice questions, eventually leading to a practice test. So at any rate, that's an assignment, but this assignment is now passed. Okay, so if it's passed and you want it just so that students don't see it, you can just, one of your options is to hide an assignment. It just deactivates it as you see, so it's still there if you want to get at it, but students won't see it when they log in. Okay, this is an active assignment, I want it active. Now one of the things, this active assignment, you'll see that the first part is in green. This is a part that currently is ongoing. So students can log in and they can start submitting their assignments. None have done so yet. This was just active as of noon today. So none have done so yet. But again, this is active. When this due date passes, then they'll move to the assess and then on to the reflect. Okay. So this is what you'll see when you're in your course tab. As a default, any assignments you have ongoing. You should also see a students and grades tab that lists the students in your class. I happen to have 1,592 students in this class. And then there's a teaching team tab. And I'll visit each of these tabs in subsequent videos. But for this one, I really want to focus on the assignment tab and giving you a sense of how to create assignments. That alone will probably take a little bit of time. So let's go through that. If you wanted to create a new assignment, the first thing you would do is go into the class of interest and then click on this Add an Assignment icon. And you will immediately be given a choice of whether you want to create a new assignment, which essentially means creating an assignment from scratch, or whether you want to use a library assignment. A library assignment, but the notion here is that if you've already created an assignment in the past, you can just save it to a library. And so instead of creating something from scratch, you could in fact bring in an old assignment you have, and maybe it's from a previous year, and maybe all you want to do is change the dates, which is fine. You can also do other things with these libraries. For example, you can save it to your personal library, but you can also save it to a school library and thereby share your assignment with your colleagues and vice versa. Or you can save it to a public library and literally share it with educators worldwide. So eventually this library database will grow, and you will now have the choice at this point of whether you want to create something from scratch or whether you want to begin with an assignment from any one of those libraries that I told you about. For now, we're going to create one from scratch. Okay, when you create one from scratch, you will first be prompted to give it a name of some sort. I'll just call this example. And you can either just hit return here, or you can save and continue. When you save and continue, it's now going to ask you to define your assignment, essentially. And that'll entail a few different things. I'm just going to give you an overview right now, and then I will have subsequent videos that get into details. But the first thing will just ask you, what do you want as due dates for your various phases of your assignment? And do you wish to allow late submission or not? So we're going to have to specify dates. Then in this assignment media section, we're going to literally describe the assignment we want students to do. So the overall assignment. In the instructions and tips, we can give our students very specific instructions that they will only see when they're doing each phase. So instructions for the create, for the assess, and for the reflect and revise phase. So these are very phase-specific instructions and tips. Those are the real big things you have to do. Set the dates, give your overall assignment, and then give specific instructions and tips for the phases. But you also can, if you want, get into various other options, including really specifying in detail how you want the events to unfold in your assignment. So specific features that you want and don't want, essentially. So you do those in the settings. These will load with default features. If you're cool with the default features, then you don't have to do anything in this section. But if you want to override any of them, this is your opportunity. You can also specify the grading options, how you want your assignment to be graded. And finally, there's an ability to do what we call advanced options, which are really good if you want to divide your class into groups in some way, maybe having one group work on one assignment, another group on a different one, but maybe having them assess each other's work. So there's a lot of power in what you can do at this point, and in subsequent videos what I'll do is I'll step through these one at a time and essentially create a very rough assignment with you as we do so. But that will give you the overall general sense, and if I've got your interest, then look for part 2. Alright, see you in the next video.